And welcome to the Next Level You podcast. I am your host, Danielle Rocco, and today I have my beautiful friend, Precious Prascovia from Uganda with Precious Kids Foundation. How are you today?
I'm blessed. How are you, darling?
I am doing well, and I am so happy to see your lovely face and talk to you because it's been a few weeks,
Yes.
maybe even a month since I saw you last.
About 2 months now.
Oh my gosh, time flies. I like to think of it as like 2 weeks because then I won't miss you so much. Okay?
Okay.
So Precious and I we met at an event out in California because I'm on East Coast and you're on the West Coast in December. So yeah, 5 or 6 months ago. And we just had that love girl connection. I just love you so much. And you actually stood up and spoke in the middle of the room. And I was like, that woman's got some drive. She's got some passion. And I need to know more about what is inside her. Because, wow. So tell me a little bit, tell the world a little bit about who you are. What makes you tick?
Oh boy. Well, my name is Precious Prascovia, born and raised in Uganda. I've been privileged to live in the US for about 20 years now. I am a neuroscience registered nurse and I live in San Francisco here in California. Love it, love it, love it.
Yes.
What makes me tick? Life. Life and the grace God has given me to be alive and to do what I do and helping people not only in a different country but also here where I am. And what makes me tick is authenticity in people. Love, love, love. And I've told you this about you. The authenticity in people. That I love it. And many other things, but those are some of the main ones. Yeah.
Yes. Well, you can, if you're seeing this just hearing this on the audio version, if you see Precious, if you see her eyes, you can see the love and the fire and the passion and compassion that's in there. And I think that not just your story, but or what you're doing, but that you can see that in people. Some people, I meet them and there's just this blank slate. It's almost like they're those scary robotic movies that you see. But that is definitely not who you are inside you. So tell everybody, what is the Kids Foundation? What is that you've created?
It's called Precious Kids Foundation. It's based in Uganda. So what it is it's an orphanage center, and also we take care of widows and single moms. And I've been doing this kind of work for about 12 years now. Oh wow! So started off as an international director, and then we went off and started a foundation. And in the process of all of this kind of work I've been doing, remember I'm a neuroscience registered nurse. So one of the things that we are taught as nurses is to think in a critical way. You're able to think in a critical way. And then one of the things we did in the foundation, because I'm a nurse, I started doing medical missions, because prevention is better than cure, as that's a slogan that's very common. But when you see so many kids that are dying and you see so many orphans, there's a story I can tell. There's in the Ecuador, remember in Ecuador, there were some missionary workers that went there, and as they were taking a break alongside the river, they started noticing like lifeless bodies of kids falling into the river. So one by one, they started seeing them streaming down. The river. So one of the ladies got up and went all the way to the top of the mountain. But her friends called her back because they were taking the bodies out of the water. But they were becoming overwhelmed because more and more bodies were falling in. So it just so happens that when she went up to the hill, when they called her back, she said, no, I have to go up there and stop what is causing all these lifeless bodies falling into the water. So the story behind that is sometimes when life is happening in many areas, we may become overwhelmed. So the solution that comes with all these orphanages that we get to see around in Uganda and in Africa, you may want to treat what you're seeing right now, but why not go to the root cause of everything? The root cause is a father who has died prematurely. The root cause is a mother who has died prematurely. Maybe it could be from infection. It could be from untreated blood pressure, untreated blood sugar, many other diseases, even a snake bite. Something that maybe a snake bite or a prick, a wound that has gone on and become septic, and then next thing you know, the person does not get antibiotics, that does not get treatment needed, and they pass away. Well, if it's a father, then the father has left an orphan. If it's a mother, then the mother has left orphans. So it's one of those things that I got to see from the trend of having done this kind of work. And I was like, okay, something has to be done. Something has to be done. So God, in his divine wisdom, guided me to this way of work of saying, you know what, go ahead and start doing this kind of work. Because like I said, and you know, in one way, the way you think is how he speaks to you.
Yes.
So being a nurse is how he spoke to me. Prevention is better than cure. So that's when we started doing medical missions, like on an aggressive level. We started doing medical missions. So when we take volunteers from the US and even German, because we've done even from Germany, we take volunteers from here, we go over to Uganda, and we set up tents. So we can go either in a football field or half a football field, a location that is big enough to contain people. And we set up tent, and we do a buffet of doctors. You know, like you set up tent and then just put a buffet of doctors. So we set up 7 of them, where any person can come in and out from one doctor to another, and be able to get treatment free of charge. If they need all the 7 specialties, they will go to all 7 of them free of charge. So that is one way for us to prevent the premature deaths that are happening, especially in the rural areas, because you may desire to have a medical center. You have to walk. First of all, it's not that you're going to drive, because these are rural communities. So maybe you have a bicycle, because some of them have bicycles. Not everybody though. So you can maybe you can you can walk for about an hour, 2 hours without any medical facility near you. Now, if you get a medical facility near you, because these are in rural communities, they are not well equipped to even handle some cases. So some people have to, and I want to be careful to say this, but medical help there, you have to actually pay for it before you are treated. So it's not like here. So
Right.
all the knowledge that I get here, I'm able to use it and to direct, because being the founder, I oversee. I get people to treat, but then I oversee them. So I get to the privilege of directing, okay, what do we need? What do we need that can, if it is my mother, you know, when people ask me, but why do you do this work? Why do you do what you do? It just so happens that in 2015, my father passed away. Prematurely, I can say, because he had a long life in him. Normally they say that in Uganda, the life expectancy is about 55 years old. So my father was a little older than that. He passed away at 73, but people had been growing older because of natural herbs and all that. When he passed away, it was something that I can even say up to now I have not accepted yet, if I may say. And it hit me so bad, because it's one of the things that could have been prevented, very, very easily prevented. But when he passed away, then 3 months later, my own auntie, who is like his very, very close sister, goes to what would be an emergency room. She had asthma. She had run out of her asthma medications. And they were like, oh yeah, we'll take care of you. And they they didn't take care of her immediately. I don't want to say they did not have the medication, because I wasn't even sure, but this is an emergency room, which, like I say, the facilities are not well equipped either. Then when she was still in the ER, she passes away. Now, all of this is back to back. I'm still processing my father's passing. And then this one also passes, who was actually a good auntie to me, or aunt. The accent. She was an aunt, an auntie. Okay. English is my fifth language, so we'll go there. But then my grandmother, she was actually the only remaining grandmother. She falls down and she gets a bleed in her head. They take her to the hospital. Now remember, this is in the city because they live in the city. So hospitals maybe not too far away from where you have to drive to go. But she goes to the hospital, but because you have to pay before they're treated, by the time they called me, time difference, we're about 10 to 11 hours, depending on the season from Uganda. By the time they call me, we need money to treat her and everything. The bleed is expanding. I am a neuro nurse. You know, when you have a brain bleed, you have to take care of it. So by the time I get to call them and then send them some money, next thing you know, she's unconscious. She became unconscious. And so a few days later, she passes away. So within less than a year, and this was a grandmother very close to me because she was, first of all, the only remaining one. She was on my dad's side. So within less than a year, all these things happen. And I'm like, I'm older. So, you know, the term orphan may not apply to a person who is older. So, but to a younger person, these are preventable diseases to any person, of course, right? But to a younger person, this is an orphan who has been created. And then to my auntie, she has kids, those kids as well, right? So those are the things that when I looked at, and like I said, it was divine, God's direction for me to just go and do something about it, using my expertise, my leadership skills, and using my circle of influence. We just got a team and then went there and did some work. And then we were able, during September last year, by the grace of God purely, we were able to treat 4,767 patients in 5 days. That tells you how big of a need. That tells you how big of a need.
How big of a need, and what a power and dedication that you have created. Because that is a lot of man hours. Then not a lot of, you know, wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of man hours. Yeah. And the beautiful thing also that came out of that, we delivered 2 bouncing baby girls. Oh. One of them is called Baby Precious now. Beautiful baby girl. And we did like 1,020 dental extractions. So all of this, like I said, it shows you, and these are people who came, they already have a need and it wasn't being fulfilled. So that's what I was saying. It shows you how much of a need that was there. And the dedication is there because I'm thinking, what other girl would love to go without a father? I would love to be walked down the aisle by my father. Cannot happen again. I would love to, there are times whenever I would call my dad, and if he's driving, because my dad was a civil engineer. So we came from a middle family. Oh. So if he would be driving, he's like, oh, my favorite daughter, let me pull over so I can talk to you. So I'm like, no, I bought him earpiece so that he can drive and talk. Say, no, I cannot concentrate when I'm talking to you if I'm driving. So let me pull up. I'm like, okay, Dad, even if you have earpieces. So he's like, you know, you're my favorite daughter. Don't tell everybody. But you know, I'm like, yeah, you tell that to everybody too. So we had, I want to say, a rekindled, beautiful relationship because I didn't grow up with him. I grew up with a single mom, but we more like 2012 or so is when we started having like a very good rekindled relationship, even though I knew I was a daddy's daughter, daddy's girl, even when I was growing up, because like he would sneak here and then buy me what would call pancakes in a Ugandan style pancakes. Yeah. So, I mean, I can tell you more stories about him, but the idea that another girl will go without a father, another girl would go. Those memories, I still hold them. Sometimes they kind of get me choking, but it's the strength that I used to say, how about we help another girl not to go through that? How about we help another mother not to lose a husband? How about we help anybody that we can help so that they don't go through that pain? Because once it happens, you cannot bring them back, whether you like it or not. So the idea is, how can we prevent it? So that's the gift that I thank God for, that he gave me, to say, go out. And now my agenda I am sold out 102% because yes, I'm a nurse and I use my leadership skills, because when I go to these missions, I don't go there like, let me go treat. I go there as overseeing. So then we take the different teams, the doctors and everything, because we have a very good team back in Uganda that really, really is well dedicated. So right now we're planning another one. It's going to happen in September, and we have people already signing up to come with us, because I desire that we take volunteers. You know, it's one thing that me having met you is a beautiful thing. You know, you meet somebody, you hug, you talk and everything. So I desire when we take volunteers, they get to see what's happening from a different perspective. They get to relate with the people, because I always love to maintain people's dignity. Even if I am helping you and you're in a very poor situation and everything, I don't want somebody to come, oh, let me just give you money and then you be there. No. Come, relate with me, hug me. And I'm a hugger, okay? You know that.
Yeah.
Come, relate with me, hug me, let's talk. Don't look at me from the angle of I'm poor, because life may have given me, you know, lemons, but I'm a human being. I love life. So can you see that in me in spite of the poverty level around me? So that's why we like to take volunteers. So we're going to do that again in September.
And so how many volunteers is like the perfect amount of volunteers to, I have so many questions. Yeah, but
please.
there.
Please.
So if you had the perfect amount of volunteers, what would that number be?
25 for now. Yeah. Because even when we take volunteers, there's another responsibility we have for them.
Yes.
So we continue expanding ourselves right now, but then 25 for now. 25 if we take them, because what we do is we join their expertise here and join the teams in Uganda. Whenever we go deep in the rural areas. Yeah. So we are able to get like volunteer doctors from the city, and they come over. And so we connect the medical doctors. So because the volunteers we take are they're both medical and non-medical. They do not have to be fully medical. And we give them a treat when they come. And the treat is we show them Mufasa land. You know, Lion King Mufasa? Yes. We show them Mufasa land, because Uganda as a country is beautiful. Uganda as a country is rich in many ways. Just the scenery is beautiful. And the fruits and the food and the people are loving the Ugandan people. So we give them another treat. Not only do we do just the medical mission, but we also take them around, and using their expertise, we also carry out like teaching sessions. So we want to do economic development. We want to do community development. So we want to treat a person as a whole. Yes, I will treat you from a medical perspective, but can I help you as a life coach with your mindset? Can I help treat the economic part of it? I may give you money, right? But can I teach you how to build a business? Can I teach you how to plan with what you have to even be better? Community development, we do a lot of building wells. Building wells and building vocational training centers, because the smartness of people that they have, they can use their skills, they can use their talents to be able to, even like if it's maybe let's say, let me teach you how to do good agriculture work. Yes. Can you use that gift and talent that you have to do either farming, agriculture, carpentry, tailoring, so that you can get money for you? Because I can just give you money, but I'm not helping you. Right, but if I teach you how to use your own skills, then I will leave you. That's my favorite quote is, teach me how to fish. Because if I teach you how to fish, you will then, when I come back, I will see a community flourishing. I will see people who have done things for themselves, and there's a pride in that. Me giving you money is also, but if you learn how to use your own hands, your own skills and talents, and be able to sustain your family, there's a pride in that. There's a person's glory. I like to do this because it's like there's a person's glory in that. So we want to maintain their dignity by also doing that. So perfect number of volunteers is that. Go ahead.
And I love that. So you're not just preventing the illness or the preventative death, but you're also giving. It's even deeper than that. It's deeper than just the health. It's going into that, because I talk about this a lot. We all have gifts God gave us inside, right? And when we can flourish them, and we need community, we need other people that are ahead of us in the journey to help bring
exactly.
So that's also that other level that you are bringing to the community, which in return is going to be the ripple effect of the health, you know. And because it was amazing to me how you said you had, you know, your father and then your aunt and then your grandmother, and you come from a middle, to, you know, class family. So when that family is still struggling in that way, and so how many other people, like, that was an eye-opening to me, just that statement, because you think, oh, that her family must not have that much in Uganda, and that is why that happened. But that's not the case at all. So think of all of the, like, think of America, all the middle-aged family, you know, middle income
class
families that are out there. That's your reality over there. That's amazing to me. That's such a difference.
And exactly. And that's what I want to show people. There's a difference. There's the middle class, there's a poor class, and there's a high class. So it's more of how do we integrate how you have your strengths from one level to go help those who don't have. And then using my, and I'm an entrepreneur, that using my entrepreneur skills, I don't want to just leave you in the poverty level. I want to help you bring you out so that you can go out. And then who knows, because if I touch your life here, who knows what other life you're going to touch later on. So that is a ripple effect we're doing in the organization.
Yeah. Do you ever find that there are communities there that resist maybe the change or resist the help, or is it all open, welcoming?
So far, they've been extremely welcoming. So far, I have even members of parliament. Do you know what members of parliament means?
Like kind of
like a congressman, congressman. Yeah. So we have members of parliament that are coming to me, asking me to go into their villages, deep into. We have ministers. We have people that are on the local level that are supposed to be within the government level that are asking me to go deep into their villages to help them. So they've been welcoming, actually. They've been really welcoming. In December, by the grace of God, they called me back into the country and they gave me an award. And that award was so prestigious because it's not your education, or it's like you have given your skills and talents and come back to your native country and helped people. It's like a humanitarian award. So they gave me that award by the organization is called Uganda Diaspora Network. And this is an organization that recognizes people in the diaspora that have come back to their native countries to do something. So it was an honor to receive it, because I do what I do because of the passion I have, because of the life story that I have. But for the country to recognize that, it was an honor. It was an honor. So I mentioned that because there is a need to answer your question. They are welcoming us. They are welcoming us. Please, thank you for doing this. Can you do it even more? I have a recording of one of the local council. What are the terms? I need to know the terms that are equivalent to local council, but it's not a mayor. It's I already have mayors that have asked us to go. So in this one in September, when we go back, we're going to go to a city, and the mayor, we're working hand in hand with the mayor. But we have, like, on a lower level local council, and she was giving a testimonial. Please come back. Please keep coming us. We need keep coming back to us. We need your help. We need help that you're giving to the people. So yes, they are actually welcoming. They've not been resisting.
Oh, that is good. And so how many times right now are you making this trip?
Right now we're going once a year.
Okay.
So, but my dedication is to do this at least minimum 3 times in a year. Like, so next year, 2020, we want to do it 3 times a year, because when we do 1 year, it's like, it becomes overwhelming. The people, you should have seen some of the volunteers. They're like, okay, now we're done. Where's America? Let's go back. But we want to do it 3 times in a year. And whenever we go, we don't go back to the same place. So what we do is we go to a different village, because we have many different, of course, villages in the country. So to give you an idea, Uganda is like, let me use the state of Texas. It could be a little smaller than Texas. So when you say Texas, but then you have Houston, you have Dallas, you have these main cities, right? But then in those cities, you have the deep, deep villages. So we go into those villages. I usually like to give an example of that, because when people say, oh, you're from Africa, so they think Africa is the whole country. Well, like, nah. Uganda is like a state, just one state out of the United States. So imagine United States is Africa. Then Uganda is like one of the states. So we go, of course, each state or each country, it has its own president, has its own way of doing things. So come from Uganda, so I start from there. But I don't, my desire is to go to more other countries in Uganda, in Africa. Right now we are operating in Uganda, Kenya, and Rwanda, but we want to go into more. And we want to do 3 different villages every single time we go back. And so like, let me say like in 2000, this past year, what we did was in 3 different villages in one time. So this one will go that every time we go, like maybe say 3 days here, 5 days here. Okay. Right. And then that is one time, that's considered one time. So we want to do that 3 times every single year. As resources become available. I think the limiting factor is resources, because people who are willing to help on the ground are there, and then volunteers to take from here is another thing that we want to rally more volunteers to come with us, so that we do it more, and then we go from country to country. So the 3 countries that we're operating in, we want to actually go to more and spread all over Africa, because in general, this is not only a problem in Uganda. The poverty crisis and the healthcare crisis is not only in Uganda. We want to spread it all over Africa.
Yeah. And do you have, in part of those volunteers, are you bringing doctors and nurses there, or are you using just...
No. Oh no, we're taking doctors and nurses here. They come and share their expertise, and then we get hand in hand with the doctors and nurses in Uganda. Yes.
So
and then of course
a learning experience too for the doctors that are in Uganda.
Yes, actually they've been thanking me, because Uganda is considered a tropical country. So they're coming over in a different setting, like it's a different kind of medicine, it's tropical. So there's a learning experience that they have, but then as you know, like you're a mother, right? I can say this, I'm black, you're white. That is as beautiful as we can get. Yes. You are a mother. When I bring you a black child, you will treat that child because you're a mother. It comes out of you. So even the doctor, so you may not know how to do the nappy hair, but you learn, and it doesn't take you long. I hope that does not come off in any bad way to the listeners. Because those are the facts. I hope it doesn't, because I don't intend it to be. So I gave the example because it's like, even a doctor, you are a doctor, and there's that in you, you're a doctor. So you will know how to take blood pressure, you know how to look out for this, look out for that. So the difference is the tropical diseases, that when somebody comes up with malaria, we don't have malaria in the US. When somebody comes up with it, so that will be the only difference.
Okay.
That will be the only difference, yes.
But giving that, it's a learning experience for both, from the volunteers all the way down to every single
person. It is.
There.
Yes,
it changes
because even the
language.
Oh my God, it does. It does. It does, because we even take families, right? We take people that have, so we the way we do our volunteer work, we want to, the spicy girl in me wants to put fun in everything. So we have the medical mission, but then we have the families come over so that the child is going to learn. The child that comes from the US to go see another child, how they live, they're going to learn. And we've had testimonials of people who come with us as volunteers, what they've learned, how their lives have been affected, how the kids now, they look at life differently. They don't take things for granted anymore. Oh, I didn't get my, Nintendo. And then they throw a fit or a tantrum or something. When they see another child who is living happy and everything, in spite of what they have, in spite of what life that is surrounding them. So we've got testimonials of people who come back and say, wow, my child sees life differently. They were able to go and volunteer and give back to another person who is supposed to be in a lesser privileged lifestyle. And they're like, oh, Mom, I'm so sorry. I was griping about this and this, and now they're even helping out more at home and different things. Even the grown-ups, of course, they get to see life in a different way. So it touches the beauty of this is it touches lives, both of them. They've come to volunteer, but the other people have also touched them. Yes.
You
And of
can't
course, like I say,
take that back.
no, you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
I know I've heard of lady Cynthia Carsey. You've heard of Cynthia Carsey? I've
Yeah.
heard of her that she went to a country to volunteer, and now she has a big organization that she's running. And it all started because she went in to volunteer. She saw the need, but they touched her life, and now she's touching them back, tens of thousands more. Yeah.
I mean, I could tell you as we're sitting here, and I never thought of it, and I've talked to you and I know your mission, but I'm thinking like, what an amazing family vacation, right? You want
Exactly.
a family vacation. I'm thinking like, what should I do with Brett? He's the last one of the kids, before
Right.
he heads off. And this would be
Right.
such a gift to me, to him, and then, everybody else
Right.
involved, like this overall. So before we have to sign off, because see, this is why I have to keep track, because I'll talk to you
Okay.
forever. I'm like fascinated. I'm
What
like,
time is it? Okay.
tell me more. How can people, if they want to, help in any way, be part of your mission, volunteer, or if they can't, give to your mission or resources, how would they go about doing that?
So thank you for that. Right now, the way to get a hold of us on our Facebook page is called Precious Kids Foundation. That's our Facebook page. How can people be part of this? One, the volunteers. We need volunteers to come with us, because I mentioned the reason why we want volunteers. So we need volunteers to come with us for our next medical mission, and it's happening on August 29th up to September 16th. So it's roughly a little over 2 weeks. And we put it that way because when you go there, it takes 2 days to go and it takes 2 days to come back. You need to get over the jet lag, because Uganda is about, depending on the state that you're coming from, because in California, it's about 10 hours difference right now. So depending on which state you're coming from. So to give people time to adjust and then to enjoy the country for about 2 weeks, enjoy the medical mission. And we want to come that you're coming to enjoy, you're coming to give back, but you're coming to receive as well. So we need volunteers to come with us, so they can contact me on my Facebook page, Precious Proscovia, or I say Proscovia for people to be able to know
And
how
I'll
to
put
pronounce it.
I'll write it in there.
Okay. They can inbox me from there. So I give them details about the trip, because we are in right now, people are buying tickets so that we can go. The earlier you buy them, of course, the better. The other way that people can volunteer is referrals or donations. In order to operate a medical mission, it costs us about $50,000 US dollars can treat the number of people that we were able to impact. So in order for us to do that without a worry of financial resources that comes in, because the work is there, the last thing you need is you're doing your work and then you run out of medication because you didn't have enough money, and you have all these people that you have to turn away. So it costs about $50,000 for us to run one. So that's one way that a person can help, either donating $50,000 or a few increments of $50,000, referring us to organizations or companies or businesses, because we are a 501c status here in the US. So we are tax exempt. So to be able to refer us to people that can donate to us, and then of course we do it as a tax write-off, as the beautiful US of A does its work. So that's one of the things I'm privileged to learn, that in the US, when you give back to a charity, to a nonprofit, the tax exempt part of it is put in it. So it encourages people to give more. So that's another way that people can help us. And befriend us on Facebook, Precious Kids Foundation, and just support our work that we do. Because it's a donation-based organization, money has been one of the biggest things that we need. And of course, volunteers, as I mentioned, and also resources, because the in-kind donations are also needed. Material that we need to be able to do the work that we do. And the expertise, life coaches, entrepreneurs, life coaches, people that teach and train different communities, so that they come and bring those resources, because we do have the platform for them to come and be able to teach and train the different communities that we go to.
Oh,
so
wonderful. Thank you so much for everything you do. And thank you for sharing, coming on and sharing with the world. I really appreciate it. And I will talk to you soon.
I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, of course. And to everybody out there, I will see you on the other side.
Yes. Thank you.